Give me a break.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Team Unconventional Podcast. I am your solo host today. My name is Matt, and welcome to the off season. The off season show. Now, it's we're in our off season, which means that the players underneath Tuck are not playing anything competitively at this present time. We dab in other competitive games, but we're not a part of a team. We're not competing for anything. No trophies, no money, no fame, no fortune, none of that at the present time. But I wanted to at least release something so that you guys had some hopes that we'll be back. And we are. We are currently in our recording phase, and episode 9 was recorded and would have been released to you, said would have, if the audio didn't crash, and it did, which is why you have solo me instead of group me, where I have my other co-hosts, Mike the Duke and JT. So because it's late, I figure I would come on and just give you guys an update since we're in the after season, the off season, the after off season. Oh, that must sound dumb in your ears. Anyways, a little history lesson. We started this podcast because we were currently competing in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and the TCG. Then the Duke had stopped playing TCG and decided to move on to other projects. JT and I continued to play, and we took some time off in December to get ready for the Portland Regional, and life hit us hard. A guest that we used to have on this channel, which will no longer be allowed on this channel, decided to make some trepidations known, or antics, I should say, and it's not tolerated, no longer tolerated. The headache that he caused some people is more than anyone should have to bear in this day and age, but it does happen. People do crazy things to get attention. Not something that I endorse, will not do that. I am almost 40. You can do that stuff far away from me. I don't care. No longer allowed. He's banned, and I'm not allowing him back on the team or on the podcast. But the stress that he put on JT was far greater than I had imagined. And in episode 9 that I had to scratch, he did mention that that's what really hurt his performance. But he left at a 5-4 in Portland. I went 2-7, which I was really disappointed in my performance at all, like all the way around. But literally on Christmas Eve, they released Regulation F, and not all the calculators had all these Pokemon added, so I couldn't update anything or plan accordingly. And I went in with a team that I thought would do well and didn't. Now, there was a lot of times I did misplay, and I mentioned it in the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, Search 1285, shameless plug. That I placed 2-7, but there was only, out of 9 rounds, 9 of them, I got swept twice. So I lost 2-0 twice. I swept someone, I won 2-0 twice. The 5 after that were all game 3s and could have went anywhere. I just needed to win the coin toss, realistically. There was one that I had to fight against a Dragonite that was confused and didn't get the confusion and just hit me with outrage, and I couldn't do anything. It was dope. But that's how Pokemon works, right? But he went 5-4 and was on a winning streak. And in the beginning of the 3rd round, which is usually when the stream begins, Twitch chat gets to select who they want to see fight in front of them. And he was on the monitor. He was there. But Twitch chat didn't know who he was. And he had to play against Rogov. And Rogov's a good player. Like, there's not a whole lot of people that can look at Rogov and not be terrified. But Twitch chat didn't vote to see my buddy JT so he didn't get to be on the big screen. But it did shake him for the rest of the day, or at least that's what I thought. Turns out this whole thing with our guest did a lot more damage, and even I had to like come in before the tournament and ask him like, is everything okay? Like, did we lose a lot? Because he was going to be one of our representing team members, and he's not ever, absolutely not. So that's never going to happen. Not anymore. Once before, but not now. But for now, it was just like, is this a thing? And no, it's not. So we don't have to worry about that. Thankfully. Oh, thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. But after this, other things came up. So him and I had decided to stop our 2024 season, and we might compete back in the regional circuit and maybe compete for worlds in 2025. The only thing that we're willing to do now is maybe go to locals. But I work a lot now as part of my 2024 goals. And JT has his own goals that he wants to try to do. The Duke himself is going to be selling some stuff. He got a brand new 3D printer, so he might be starting an Etsy store soon. Etsy store soon, in which on YouTube I'll update you guys when that happens. On Spotify, when you guys see this on Thursday, you'll have to come visit us on the YouTube channel, and we'll fill you in the details there. It'll be in the description if it does, but only once it does. So since we're in our off season, we've been kind of trying to figure out how to come back to the podcast, because our focus is about video games, competitive games, or just esports in general. Esports as a whole has been kind of falling down quite a bit. Several teams and like games have like left the esports scene. It's kind of gone crazy. And I don't know if we're going to continue doing like gaming for our podcast, but I still want to talk about Pokemon because that's what I'm passionate about. JT, not so much. His new passion that he has now is Dragon Ball Fusion World. It's the new Dragon Ball Z Super equivalent to like Master Duel or like Duel Links. I think Duel Links is a better comparison because it doesn't have any of the counter cards that the Master version does. So like Dragon Ball Super, it has like a bunch of cards that you can interact with. But in the Fusion World game, you don't have that. So you don't have to worry about it as much. It goes back down to the basic premise of what the game was, which is pretty interesting by itself. And it makes you kind of think of what things are going to go. Now, what made the change is the fact that they came out with this beta version of the Fusion World game. We missed out the first one because I think Dragon Ball Super was going to come out with its own beta version, and we missed that one by like a couple of days. This other one, the Fusion World one, was only out for 2 days, just 2. So unless you were like on the Bandai Namco like newsletter, I guess you didn't hear a ton about it, unless you're like a fan about this thing and was just like on the nose with it, because I wasn't. I got to do a tutorial thing and then I wasn't able to play again. But JT had played a lot of it, had found out that the scalpers are all over this game. Everything is high priced than what it should be currently, and that's normal for any TCG games. Like Lorcana had like a really big scalper problem, so it's not unknown, but it kind of sucks when it happens. All the same, it sucks. But this is his current passion project. He really loves Dragon Ball Super. He stopped playing right before the pandemic happened, and my brother was a part of that squad too. And it was interesting, right? The card game in itself was really, really fun. I had a couple of bad interactions during tournament play, but it wasn't enough to make me stop playing fully. I went in to get more practice with my deck, and my deck was missing. That's what really killed it for me. I don't know where it went, but it's gone. So I can't practice, so I'm not going to play a game that I can't practice. But that ruins the entire immersion for me. If it's not like a 3D model thing, but that ruins it for me. The Duke himself doesn't have anything lined up. He stopped playing TCG, like I mentioned before, and it sounded like he had stopped playing it months ago. I'm trying to see if I can get him into maybe Pokemon Go or Pokemon Unite, but with life, we have our own struggles, and he might be selling his Nintendo Switch. So, which sucks because I don't want him to sell it, but it is what it is, right? Same thing with like JT and I. I don't know what mindset JT is in, but I'm in the mindset that I want to considerably lower down my debt. And I'm gonna tell you an intimate story about me, guys. This is a 1-for-1 telling, as if don't know why I said that, but here's a 1-for-1 telling. 2 years ago, I started a brand new job, but that job wasn't paying me enough to be able to satisfy all of my bills. I was left with two options: get a second job or ask my current one to give me a pay bump. I talked to my boss and I wasn't given a direct pay bump. I was instead being trained for that pay bump, but I still had to prove myself. So I went back, came home, and talked to everyone that lives with me. And they were okay if I didn't pay as much in rent, which hurt because everything should be equal. But it was on the promise that I would be getting either a promotion or a really good pay bump. But I had to wait till November of last year. So this last November, I had to wait. And I started training, I think it was June, maybe May, that I was doing this new position. So during that entire time, I was racking up debt. I was still able to pay like rent, but like credit card bills were piling up. I had to take out a loan, so that was taking up most of my checks. And I decided that 2024 was going to be my year of knocking that down. I spent 2 years, and I'm going to undo that 2 years, and I'm hoping to do it by the end of 2025. So what I've done is I've calculated everything that I spend, and I am on a very heavy budget. Now, any free money that I get is from working overtime, and I do a lot of overtime. I work at least an hour every night. If not, I volunteer for Saturdays to get at least 10 hours of overtime. So for the last 2 weeks, not this one, but the 2 weeks before that, I had been working 6 days straight, plus staying until 1, because I'm usually off at 11 p.m. Staying till 1. So my overtime was about 18 hours. Yeah, it's about 18 hours of overtime. And I didn't get paid for one of them because I had to use one of my days because we had an ice storm. Couldn't go to work. But I still went to work on that Saturday and had, a regular pay, but then I still had like over 10 hours of overtime and got a huge check, right? And that's where my mindset's been. It's like I need to do at least 10 hours of overtime to be able to get that extra money so that I can breathe without having to dedicate so much into these transactions. I need these to go away, and the only way I can do that is to work more. Now, I only have to work more because of the fact that I don't have anything to sell. Like I don't have an Etsy shop where I can sell prints. I would love that, but I currently do not have the licensing that I would need to purchase so that I can sell my own prints that I did, because I'm a photographer, right? I do have LUTs. I could sell those, but I don't think they're good enough to sell. I'm not advertising them. There's no way for me to make a little bit of like any type of money for that. I'm also a filmmaker, not doing anything to do with that. And I would love to do motion graphics, but I can't do that because I'm not based in that skill. I can do it, but it's not my forte, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of doing my YouTube thing, and I'm on my YouTube grind. I'm trying to be monetized this year in 2024 and hopefully have that as a side income and just focus on my job here. And since I've gotten to that mindset, I have not missed a lot of days from uploading, and I'm currently at 442 subscribers at the time of this recording. I would love to be at 500 by the end of the year, or 600. I'm at almost 450. We can hit it. I just would like a little bit of help from you guys. But I would love to be able to just continue doing what I do and do this until I can see something that would maybe take over. But I don't want to fully give into YouTube as a full-time job. I love being a creator and I love creating in this space, but I want to have my own business where I'm creating things that isn't heavily relied on YouTube. So after I get done with all of my debt, I will then start saving up to open up my production company where I'm making stuff, where I can sell things. And part of this podcast, I'm hoping that we'll do that for not only JT, but for Mike and myself. We're going to be splitting this with the team. And while we only have 2 other guests besides myself, there's other people that work behind the scenes, and I would love to teach them how to do the things that I do. Maybe that'll make everything kind of speed up further. So maybe I could, do more and have this as like a side income to where it just comes in whenever you guys watch and maybe enjoy the content. It just depends on what we can do at the time to kind of alleviate the costs of everything. Because right now, everything's coming out of my pocket. I don't pay JT or Mike, which is unfortunate because I should. They are equal partners in this, but they keep telling me that I'm the one that controls the podcast. That's not true, because while I'm doing a solo game today, it doesn't mean that I'm always going to be doing it solo, and they're part of it. So that's my thoughts about it. But I do pay for all the equipment. Mike had a problem with his microphone. Mike had a problem with his mic. And I bought one and sent it to him. And so now he's got a new mic that we have to recalibrate so that it comes up smoothly. JT also might need a new mic himself. I will confirm that with him and then send him a new mic for this purpose here. But he can use it anywhere else. But it's just like, okay, that's preemptive. I think it's preemptive. I think that's the word. It's a preemptive purchase for a business we all 3 get on. But I pay for the editing software. I pay for the microphones. And once we get the podcast up and running to where we can get more sponsors and having more guys follow us and stuff like that, we'll be able to move into an actual office and to where we can actually make this into a real life thing instead of it just being like a voiceover from a background that doesn't move. The podcast itself has always been a audio podcast, but sometimes on YouTube, there's got to be something behind it so that people have something to watch. Kind of like getting the inspiration from Critical Role or from other podcasts that have images that move. They have someone in the background that kind of switches the cameras around. I don't have any of that. It's an idea, it's a plan, but until we get the capital we need, there's no way to do that. And as my uncle Mike, the Duke himself, would always say, is shilling is the best way to do it. So if you guys want to try to help us, follow us on Spotify, follow us here on YouTube, which is my channel, Surge1285. And I'm going to have these podcasts on their own channel. The channel's already created. I just need to put all the episodes over there with no music added. We have that because I only have a licensing for my main channel stuff from Epidemic Sound, and I use Epidemic Sound on it. So it won't be carrying over to there. You'll just hear us and then that's it. So, where was I? Yes. So if you guys want to help us, please do so. It would be great. I hate shilling out my stuff because I believe that my work should speak for itself. But if you guys don't know where anything's at, you're not going to be able to find it. So you can always follow the credentials podcast, like the Team Unconventional Podcast. We do have an X account, so it's on Twitter and stuff like that. Or you guys could just follow me directly over on Search125 and I can converge anyway. I'm going to try to do the best way that I can so that both the channels get some love. But we will have other things coming out. There's a team jersey idea that we wanted to do. I like having pins or coins. I've always loved the thought of having a collectible coin just to kind of show your love for the projects that we do. Just because of the fact that I think it would be kind of fun to have a random drawing or just to come up with coins that people can use all day for an event that you can use to buy stuff. And then you just get a coin at the end of it. I think it would be kind of fun. Excuse me. But there's other ideas. And I know Mike wants to do team jerseys so that we have all of our stuff. And we do want to have, more vlogging stuff when we go to physical events. I know I wanted to vlog the Portland Regional, but I couldn't. I packed a little bit heavier this year than I did last year. I packed lighter than last year, but this year I was not able to hold any of my recording equipment, and I was kind of afraid of recording people that I shouldn't be. Even though I'm fully able to record stuff that's in a public setting, and there's a big old sign when you walk up to these regionals that there are people recording, so that people that enter this room know that specifically, so that if they do not consent to being recorded, then they don't need to be in there. But still, I was there to compete, not necessarily to record a vlog. And that was where my mindset was. So that's where my mindset has been going for this year. I've been working a ton, just so that I could pay off all of my bills and not have to worry about it. And just so you guys can see, I have one credit card completely paid off. I used all of my taxes to be able to do it. It was supposed to go for the NAIC, and I decided not to compete because I needed to get this debt down. Like my monthly outgoing is about $2,500, and my monthly income without any overtime is about $29. That's a $400 difference, and I need to get that way down. And I make good money, but it's just not that good. Once you only have like a deficit of $400, it's not that great. So what I've done up to this point is I paid off one with all of my taxes. That was great, and I get to save an extra $200 from that because it wasn't that high, and the rest of it's going to go on to the next credit card, which is going to be a bigger battle. That number is around 11,200, maybe 11,300, and I've taken everything off. It's no longer, nothing's being paid on it or being used on it. I've even taken it and stored it away. I'm not touching it ever again until it's paid off. And the interest takes up more than half of what I pay. So I know that it's going to take a lot longer of a time, but I'm willing to put in the time and the effort to make sure that I pay it off so I don't have to worry about it ever again. And once it's gone, it's gone. I could save more than $600 that way. And once that gets saved up, I can start focusing on the personal loan that I took out before I started this job. As a matter of fact, I started the job just after I got the personal loan. Now, the personal loan that I took out was supposed to help me open the business that I lost. And it paid off my car, and it also paid off one of the credit cards that I had used. So all of that recurring debt just went right into that. And that's where it currently sits. But if I'm able to get down both my credit cards, save up that $600, start using that, I can almost make double the payments. That loan, which has around 13 grand on it, it's a lot. 13 grand on it is going to be paid off sooner. Now, a lot of the stuff, it should be done by 2026. If I just make the basic payments, nothing to do with it, or like not nothing to do with it. But if I don't pay extra, everything will be done between 2026 and 2028. It's still a long time. So I'm hoping that if I make the full effort to go straight into this head first, because I went straight into it when I got it, and I'm gonna knock it down. I'm gonna take it away. So that took up all of my fire from competing outside of locals. And as much as I would love to compete in locals, they only do Saturdays. Now, I'm a swing shift worker. It's not like I get off at like 4 or 5 and go like out of town to compete, and it's like an afternoon type of deal. It's like, no, I work Saturdays, which is where they play. That's the one that's closest to me. And the rest of them are during the week when I'm at work. I work Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., sometimes 12, sometimes 1 a.m. And when those days happen, I can't go to any tournaments. I have to request that day off just to go, and I can't always promise that I'll win. I could probably get all the champion points that I need, because I think I think it caps at like 200, 300. I still can't get the 5, but I don't even have any. So since I don't have any, I'm not going to try to worry about that now. So I will be competing online, mostly on the ladder. And this is Scarlet and Violet, by the way. I'll be competing on the ladder, and then I'll be doing like the global challenges. I know that we have one coming up here soon-ish, so I'll be competing then. But as for everything else, it's just going to have to wait for now. So that's my mindset. That's where I've been kind of going. The Duke mentioned that he was going to be doing like an Etsy shop, and he's doing 3D printing. So a lot of his passions are going into that, and playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. He loves playing the MMO, and we've been getting into that to play with him. JT's new passion project is that Dragon Ball Fusion World. I believe I mentioned it before. So that's where a lot of his passion is going right now. He still will get Master Ball in Scarlet and Violet, but since Mike is selling his Switch, like anything that has to do with like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, like random raid battles that we do, team fights that we do, or just doing the barbecue quests are completely out the window. Pokemon Unite will also be difficult for him because it's not on the Switch anymore. And I think we got him like Borderlands, like the set, like the Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, and pre-sequel. I believe there was a bundle for that. I think he wiped his Switch, so he doesn't have it anymore. But, you know, those were on there. So we did have options to play with him, but he's really into Star Wars The Old Republic. So we'll be playing with him on that. As for JT, like I said, Fusion World, I'm still well within the realms of playing Pokemon. So as a podcast as a whole, we are so diverse of where we're trying to focus right now that we're going to have a lot of interesting topics that we can talk about. And there might just be like talking pieces, a couple of or at least what feels like a talking piece, because not everyone's going to be like passionate about these games like everyone else is. But at the same time, it's respectable that this is the things that they're passionate about. So we can ask questions and figure out what makes this, what makes that, what makes this, what makes that. But for the podcast, it might be a little bit harder to see because we don't have any physical visual representations. But if you guys want to see something like that, at least let me know. And then we can maybe get the ball rolling on maybe the digital one. Because like I said, there was a beta for it. It only lasted 2 days. And I don't know when it's coming back. Everyone's saying it's on the 29th, but I haven't seen it anywhere on the website saying that it's coming back on the 29th. But it has to, because like the physical card game is out and they come out with card codes, just like Pokemon do, where you can put the code in and it gives you like a pack that you can open online. So eventually it has to come out. And there's even a date of when I can redeem it. Like it currently says, I have until February 15th, 2025 to redeem it. And then after that, it goes. So that's interesting. There's also one for the mobile. So that's cool. Yeah, that's dope. So that's his, current passion project. Tony, who is our fourth member, he's really into Master Duel right now. We've been talking about the tag duel for the YCS that happened in Las Vegas, and Fire King Snake Eyes like took the dub, and he showed me his phone and he's building Snake Eyes. I'm like, oh Jesus. I don't know how many cards are going to be in Snake Eyes or how many cards are in Master Duel currently that are from what we have over in I guess OCG is what people call it, or TCG. I don't know what the difference in between Master Duel and the physical card game, but if he's able to get all the cards that were physically in Master Duel that's physically out, he'll have a tier 0 deck with no problem. But I don't know what's readily available or what's not. Like it's weird. But that's where he's been going. That's where he's been kind of like excited and passionate about. Is he like going to be up there in like platinum ranks or master ranks? I don't think so. But he's really into building these decks and like playing them against people and then seeing how they go. I also do like Master Duel, but the interactions in that game just kind of freak me out a little bit. And the thing that bugs me the most about that game is that players like Vanquish Souls can literally play on someone else's turn, and I don't believe that should ever be an option in a card game. Like, you had a full turn, it's now my turn, but now you're going to take your full turn on top of my turn. You just had one. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I don't need to play this game. I don't need to. Nope, I'm good. But I do love collecting, and I do love playing like the side events and stuff. So that's where I'm starting to go. But I also am probably going to get back into Pokemon Unite because I love being able to battle. I'm a T-Tar. I'm a Garchomp player. Apparently no one likes who I really like to play, but I play Charizard. Charizard's my man. I play a lot of classes on there. I love the scoring build for Charizard. I think it's still really, really good. It's probably not the best build out there, but I am so far behind on everything. But I love playing Garchomp. Garchomp's one of my favorite dragon types, and I am able to keep up with a lot of people. As a matter of fact, the last time I played, I got MVP, and I didn't score the most, but I did do a lot and almost wrecked the whole team by myself. So I'm just going to say that and move on from that topic. But I love playing Pokemon Unite. I've been wanting to play it, and I'm going to have to create time to play it. outside of content creation and stuff like that. But if you guys want to see it, let me know and I'll post random videos about it when I'm sitting out to record Pokemon Unite. I think it would be kind of fun. I don't play on ranked. I'm too much of a noob to do that for now, but I will play as soon as I get more medallions. That's where a lot of my anxiety comes from, of why I'm like so hesitant to play. It's because I don't have the required medallions to play ranked. A lot of people may walk around with like gold, or maybe if there's platinum, then platinum, and to where they could just do so much damage, and there's just no way that I'm gonna be able to do that. But once I'm able to, I will for sure 100% do that, because I think it would be fun. Okay, so I talked about the after off season. I talked about the 24 mindset that everyone has currently. We'll have a lot of random topics now, just because we're so diverse and all over the place. I will still give you my thoughts on like Pokemon usage, but I won't give you my thoughts on like particular battles, so to speak, because we could speculate all day, but hindsight's always 2020. So I will probably just like not necessarily limit what I critique or what I react to, but I will still be up to date of what people seem to use and share my best thoughts, period. TCG is out of the question for most of us, so we won't worry about that. I mean, the Duke wants us to record some SOTOR content. If let me know if you guys want to see that. It'll probably be on the second channel, not the podcast, not the Search 125, but like I do have a second channel that is under construction that will have random stuff that I can't put on the main channel, and that would be one of them. But if you guys want to see what we do, just hit me up and I'll start like plotting that so everyone can see it. If you guys want, I'll see if everyone can record it, and we'll have everyone's perspectives. So that would be pretty funny and pretty nice. We talked about, I guess, the shilling part. We talked about the shilling part, and again, like, you guys can follow us. It definitely helps out everything. We do have some merch designs in mind on what we would like to do. We will have to wait a little bit since a lot of the cost is going to come out of my pocket, and since I have the goals of, work a lot so that I can pay off my debt, it's going to be a little bit. But if you guys want to help support us, you guys know what to do by like just following us on Spotify. You can like and subscribe on YouTube and all of that. And yeah, like that would be perfect. Excellent. We talked about Dragon Ball Fusion World, which we'll get in more in depth in episode 10, because this is like pseudo episode 9. Talked about Pokemon Unite. Talked about our goals for 2024. We're going to be competing hopefully a lot in 2025 for Pokemon and other competitive games, but esports is kind of looking kind of ragged. I think Valorant dropped their esports scene. That was kind of rough. I know Blizzard did. I don't know if they're gonna do anything else with Overwatch, but I think everyone hates Overwatch 2 at the moment. I know League of Legends still going, so that's dope. Pokemon's still going, and that's also dope. Obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh is still going, both Master Duel and physical card games. That's also dope. There's a lot going on. I think StarCraft still has a league. I don't know, man. Like it seems like esports itself has kind of like started to implode. It was like a fad, and it seemed like not a lot of people like knew what they were trying to do. Because like if you ask some of like the insiders, they have a different opinion than I would. I think that it should just be covered and ran like it was just normal sports, honestly. Like a lot of the creators would say, like, you just need to have like a storyline. You need people to vlog. You need people to create content and get like their name out there. And it's like, I think you just need to have like a sports center that league operators get on and talk. I think that's why like Pokemon Unite is doing so well, because they have like their own team that they have commentators as well as sportscasters to kind of give people like the rundown. And it's not like they're not doing their job, but it's not like they're out there creating content to like, hey, watch me and watch me only, or watch your favorite player do this funny thing, as it's clickbaity, titles and thumbnails and stuff like that. But I think if you just had, even if like FaZe Clan, right? And I enjoy FaZe. If FaZe Clan just had like some of their members that don't play on a team just go on there and start commentating on like tournament matches and stuff like that, I think we would have a lot better odds of getting people seen a little bit more, just because of the fact that like some of the commentators that we do have in some of these scenes are not, I don't want to say they're not enjoyable, but like I don't find them entertaining. And that could be why not a lot of people watch them. I know for like StarCraft 2, there's a particular guy that does a lot of these gaming stuff, and he only does it by himself, but it's not like more commentary more than anything. So it's maybe that's what like more creators need to do, is just create commentators to go over games so that they can get people hyped up. I mean, it's what like basketball players have. It's what football players have. Like they have people that go on there and they talk about the game. We don't have a lot of people doing that. Even after, we need after show like channels talking about, okay, the plays, there's this, maybe like get an interview with someone on the team, or maybe like get a coach on the line or something like that, just so that we have someone to talk to. And even though how awkward some people are, because I think there was a team that was incredibly awkward for Pokemon Unite, but I think that's the joke. I'm not sure, but it just was really, really awkward. But if you just had like people just talking and then like an interview or something like that at the end, like that would be perfect. And like showing like, oh yeah, let's go to this replay here and let's go to this replay here and let's go to this replay here. Like that stuff would be fantastic. And I know like there's a lot of commentators out there. I guess it just depends on who do you like more and what they bring to the table as a commentator. And I guess that's what I'm hoping for. I don't really care if the creator, it's like himself is out there like creating a vlog. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, because since it's supposed to be like a team effort, not like a person effort. That's just my 2 cents. But I would like to see esports succeed. But I don't know if anyone knows how to do it. But I could be wrong. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments. But yeah, I think that's all that I had on the docket. I think I got everything here. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the podcast episode here of the after season. Welcome back. Like, thank you for listening. Not welcome back. Well, thank you for listening to the Team Unconventional podcast. If Mike was here, he would do all the shilling, so I have to do it for him. Please do me a favor by leaving a like on the video on the Search 1285 channel. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us here on YouTube, as we will have the Team Unconventional channel up and running here shortly. I already have it up. I just need to put all the episodes over. That's neither here or there. Thanks for listening. Wow, the voice crack. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next week when we have our full cast and new topics to talk about. Till then, have a great one, and I'll see you then.